first time all 4 of us are sitting on have a seat at the table.
And we're asking each other questions.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, I know.
You just feel like we don't really know each other well enough.
It's like a sharing circle.
It is like that. Hello, Ankur. Hi, I'm Roshan.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You know, my favorite pastime now is telling people who GK is, because we say GK all the time, so everybody knows that GK is Gaurav.
GK is GK.
Yeah, exactly.
It's general knowledge.
It's general knowledge.
Everyone
And
has
it
it.
should be general knowledge that you are GK.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right?
Yeah,
It's
so we're like,
common
no,
sense
Gaurav.
is not common and general knowledge is
Roshan,
not
nice
general.
to meet you.
Good to meet
Do I
you.
never
And
call
he's
you
seen
Roshan?
these cards for sharing. I think we should just
Yeah, we should
pick
start.
up one.
Go for it.
Chalo.
I like that he jumped right into it.
Yeah. What is the most adventurous thing you have done?
First you answer, then you ask one of us.
I think mine is can't be seen in black and white. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. What's the most adventurous thing that I have done?
It's
I have stage dived. I have stage dived once. Yeah.
Really?
Which was
Wow, where?
very adventurous in Hyderabad. It was raining and the crowd was going ballistic, so we decided to be crazy. And when I was mid-air, I realized that it might not go as I have intended it to be, but they helped me somehow. I'm not that big, so
Nice. What's the most, I think paragliding.
yeah.
Yeah, paragliding, that was pretty cool. That was adventurous. Off a hill, and I mean, it was back like 20 years ago, so fairly dangerous because
I'm
safety
so scared.
standards.
I'm so scared of heights, I would never do
It's okay,
it.
it's okay, it's okay. It's
That's
good.
fine.
It's good you got that. One dish that reminds you of a childhood memory. Biryani.
Biryani.
Tell. Please tell.
I mean biryani always, because when my family was going through the worst time ever, we were stuck at home, my brother and I, and we actually we didn't know better, we were really young, like 10, so we wrote a formal letter to the biryani shop saying we have no money and give us some biryani, and the biryani came. And when I was 16, I found the note in my mother's little Nivea box or little jewelry box, and I realized that she'd taken all the money in her bag, waited downstairs for an hour so that biryani would be bought and sent upstairs, and we would believe in magic.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Not exactly similar, but my mum used to be teaching and my dad used to be teaching. So our house in the morning used to be very frenetic, right? So everybody used to leave 8 baje, I have to get to school, so I'm out at 7. Mom's made breakfast for me and my sister. My dad used to go a little later. Then my mom used to also go to college. And it was a struggling time. Like if she had not done that, my mom wanted to be a doctor. But she couldn't because my dad said, "Hey, yaar, you got 2 kids now and I can't." He says, Zareen, I can't keep the family going at this in just this much. So my mom gave up her college and went to work. Now she would make just breakfast for us because there was no time to make lunch. And we didn't have a refrigerator in the very early days, right? So if she made something, then वो रखा गया जाता था. So my mom would come back. I think we would all come back about 1:30. And my mom used to make lunches in 15 to 30. Even now, my mom at 74 will be able to rustle up a meal faster than most people, and a great meal, because that's what she was used to. So my childhood memory, the food is just a chutney, because the days when she had no time, she would just make roti and she would be able to just take tomato, garlic, mirach and just make chutney. And we would have dal, that and roti. But it is still a meal that means so much to me. So mom is here just now, and like one of the first things I told her, I said, chutney bana dijiye.
GK, I want to hear your thing because GK to reads Zomato like Netflix.
Oh, like Instagram.
You know, because he said, इन्होंने menu change कर दिया. I said, ordering? No, I just know. इन्होंने menu change किया, मुझे phone नहीं किया.
I just like to check every now and then. Can't top those stories. But I think one that was always special and that was a treat was a dessert that my mom used to make. Like this. It used to be Parle G biscuits.
Oh, I know that one.
And some chocolate icing.
Yeah.
Right? And frozen.
Nice.
And
you crush the Parle G biscuits into small.
Yeah, and it's there's nothing in it really, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much in it. Like it's my entire childhood joy, happiness would be if we got that biscuit pudding, which we used to call it.
Absolutely. I think we all have a version of that.
No, we had a really funny one where I told my mom once, my favorite dish from my childhood was basi puri. So I used to tell my mom, मुझे basi puri चाहिए. My mom said, I can make you anything, but I can't make you basi puri. I want it now. Because I used to go to visit my grandmother in the train. इलाहाबाद जाते थे ट्रेन में, तो ट्रेन में वो पूरी आलू अचार दही साथ में खाते थे, फिर उसके बाद कुल्हड़ वाली चाय पीते थे. बट मुझे वही ट्रेन वाली बासी पूरी चाहिए होती थी. So it's a scientific thing that she could never make me.
I'm gonna ask this question, but first to Ankur.
Exactly.
If your life was a movie, which song would be the title track?
Oh wow. Bridge over troubled waters.
Oh, lovely.
ये तो मेरा भी
Nice.
section हुआ.
Yeah.
Mine would be undoubtedly King of Wishful Thinking.
I'll get over you.
And there's got a physical significance in my life also, because it was the first song I ever played on radio as a radio jockey when I was 17 years old. Because I believed that I had wished for this to happen, and I just feel like in my life it's kind of been that. It's just none of the dreams or aspirations I have make any sense on paper. But somehow I wish them and they just kind of touch what happens. So I feel like I'm the king of wishful thinking.
I'm choosing Beatles in
My
my
Life.
life. Yeah.
Nice.
So I have two. Because depending on.
It'll be a two-part movie anyway, so.
So one.
First is the first half of his life and second is the second half. Till
No.
50 and then after 50.
One very similar to what GK said is Everybody Hurts. REM. Right? Because again, it has a huge radio significance to me. And there was a girl who was on air and she was a suicidal girl.
Ooh.
And she said that as a radio jockey, you guys lie so much and whatever. And I was like, anything I say, she will not believe. So I had a pager in those days. So I gave my pager number and said, anybody who wants to say anything to this girl, I will relay your message exactly as it is. And for about 10-15 seconds, there was nothing. Because that's a delay, right? And then suddenly it used to go deep, like, you know, like beep, 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 beep. And this kept coming and I kept reading them. And, you know, they were messages. We were in Delhi, Haryana se, you know, Patparganj.
Wow.
And colloquial bad English or whatever, मैं तेरा भाई हूँ, I'm this. Like, it was beautiful. And I remember I kept reading those messages. And I said, I hope that this gives you some hope. And because she lost her brother and whatever, so she was like, what a useless life and stuff, you know. So I was trying to find a song. So while I'm talking, you know, we remember what we used to do? We used to cue a song from the side. I'm cueing the song, I'm figuring out what to do. And I put it in, I knew the intro then. Dang, 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 dang. So I said I have to talk exactly that much. And I remembered the Vikram Seth poem. All you sleep tonight, far from the ones who love you love. No hands to left or right and emptiness above. No, you're not alone. The whole world shares your tears. Some for a day or two, and some for all the years. And at that moment, the song played. Right? It was like, tuck.
Nice.
And I remember that when I went out, I was normally put my pager away because I would get so many messages. That day I waited saying, will she page back? And she turned and said, you're right. The world is not such a bad place. You know? So it was such a beautiful moment for me. So that was like a more personal thing.
What's coming with it? Well, should I pick it up?
All right.
Okay, this is interesting. I think I'd like to know what Roshan's answer to this is. If you met your teenage self, what biases would you ask them to let go of?
I anyway can't answer that question because I'm still a teenager.
So a couple of them. One is that in Lucknow, in the early days, in the late 80s, we always had a bias of English.
Yeah.
Do you speak the Queen's English or you don't? And frankly, judging people on that basis and making a bias of it, because I had a lot of people who were from other places, you know, who joined in the 11th and 12th, and you immediately used to have this judging them, which was one. The second was that you were brought up in a very old regimented environment where men, women, right? Honestly, there were a lot of people in our college who were effeminate. And one would just have this thing of thoda dur se rehte hain, whatever, etc. Because you just didn't know. You didn't know how to treat them, you didn't know what to expect of them, you didn't know how to handle them. And I feel bad because I saw a bunch of them actually go through the toughest time in life. Toughest time.
I agree with you on the English thing. I think I went to a very posh school. And
But till very recently, no?
Still has it.
That's why casting
Still
for all
has
these
it.
foreign
Yeah.
films.
She's
Very
from
much.
Calcutta.
But I used to have this horrible thing of asking people which school they went to. And I think I really judged someone on the basis of where you went to school in Calcutta.
Ankur?
Ankur, bye.
I always thought women can't play cricket.
And now in our cricket group, actually the best player is a girl.
Yeah.
I said I'm a teenager, so I have to get back to me in 20 years. I don't know if I think a bit of these, similar kind of like society when you grow up, that same thing. You're speaking English to somebody who doesn't, right? You come from certain, whatever little bit of privilege that you have, but anyone who has lesser than that is probably lesser than you. And it takes you a little while to grow up and realize that it's about opportunities and you got them and somebody else has to work harder to get them. So I think it's fine. I would not be too harsh with my teenage self. And I think people who can realize it from this conversation and hopefully get over it, I think that would help. But if you aren't even now getting over it, it's fine. When the time is right, you will. When you have that information, when you have that perspective, when you're ready to accept it and grow out of it, you will. So, yeah, I would not be too harsh on myself about it.
Good to know.
मजाक मजाक में serious बात
आप लोग के बारे में बहुत सारी चीजें पता लगी मुझको. Interesting सी.
What about a wholesome ending? Yeah!
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.